Hostage survivor testifies in trial of ISIS member accused in death of several Americans. El-Shafi El-Shiaki, who was allegedly a member of the group of ISIS militant dubbed the Beatles, speaks during an interview with the Associated Press at the Security Center in Kobani, Syria, Friday, March 30, 2018. CNN. A hostage taken by the ISIS terror cell known as the Beatles testified Thursday in a trial against one of the alleged members, El-Shafi El-Sheikh, who is accused of assisting in the kidnapping, torture, and death of several Americans, Europeans, and other foreign nationals from 2012 to 2015. During the second day of trial, Italian advocate Federico Motica told the jury how he was captured, imprisoned, and tortured by the terror cell alongside the other hostages who were eventually killed, including Americans James Foley, Stephen Sotrop, Kyla Mueller, and Peter Kashig. The so-called Beatles, as the hostages came to call them because of their British accent, were the primary handlers of the hostages, and according to the Department of Justice, El-Sheikh is the last of the group to stand the trial. His co-defendant pleaded guilty in September, and the other member, Mohammed Emwaji, was killed in the drone strike in 2015. Motica told the jury he was captured in 2013, along with the British advocate David Haynes, in a trip to Syria to better understand the needs of refugees in the area. I think we are getting kidnapped. Motica testified that he told his boss on the phone was masked man armed with guns surrounded their car, eventually pulling them out and pushing them in the trunk of their cars. Motica was moved around to several different locations during the 14 months he was held captive, one of which was a small room with a low roof. The hostages nicknamed the box. It was there that they endured what Motica called regime of punishment, beatings, hunger, and execution. Beatles, along with some of the hostages called the Furnisher, would beat and torture Haynes, Motica, journalist Foley, one of the Americans named in the charges against El-Sheikh, and his colleague, British journalist John Cantilley. Motica said that the group differentiated the Beatles, who they called John, George, and Ringo, by their prepared style of beatings. George was more into boxing. John, he kicked a lot, Motica said, adding that Ringo, who prosecutors say is El-Sheikh, like the wrestling and head rocks. One of those head rocks caused Foley to pass out, Motica testified Thursday. According to Motica, the hostages were kicked, punched, and beaten with a cable regularly by the Beatles and made to hold stress positions for hours. They were also forced, Motica testified, to find one another for their entertainment. We barely had the muscle strength to lift our arms, Motica said. According to Motica, the Beatles waterboarded him and several other hostages. That was by far the worst thing that had happened, he said, after describing losing oxygen, inhaling water, and panicking. There wasn't a minute's peace. The hostages lost 50 to 70 pounds by the time of the waterboarding, later becoming fully emaciated, Motka said. When they did get food, they couldn't keep it down. During one long transport in an ISIS caravan, the hostages survived the update for several days in the back of the truck, he testified. The courtroom was also shown a video of the Syrian hostage being shot in the head, kneeling in the edge of the pre-dog grave. Motka identified himself among the group of hostages who were shown kneeling on the other side of the grave and each holding handwritten signs demanding ransom for their release. One of the Beatles, Motka testified, asked him what he thought about the execution. "It's horrific," Motka said. The Beatle, Motka testified, replied, "That's a good answer."